today. They are unhinged. They're out of control. They're emotional. They don't think before they speak. They don't contemplate before they act. They are the laughingstock of professional sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the WNBA Players Association. Clap it up for them. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Unhinged, out of control, emotional. Those aren't words from some random Twitter troll. That's a sports commentator describing the WNBA Players Association in March 2025, right in the middle of the most critical negotiation in league history. And here's the thing that makes this assessment brutal. He's not wrong. Less than 16 hours. That's how long the Players Association lasted before they completely cracked under pressure. 16 hours after Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart's letter leaked to the press, questioning the union's strategy, the executive committee fired back with their own public statement. Not a private conversation, not a negotiating session, a public declaration of war against their own members.
The patience that they are exhibiting here is nothing short of spectacular. Let's get right into the video. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. Statement from the WNBPA Executive Committee.
Let's be crystal clear about what just happened here. This statement wasn't written for the owners. Adam Silver doesn't care about player surveys. Kathy Engelbert isn't losing sleep over executive committee press releases. This message had one target, the players themselves, specifically Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart. The subtext screams loud enough to break glass. We still have the majority. Shut your mouth. Fall in line. We're in charge here. It's damage control disguised as unity, and it reeks of desperation. Because when you're actually unified, you don't need to keep announcing it every 48 hours.
We already know that there's a fracture. We already know that there's division. Let's hear. In every CBA negotiation, the goal of the league and teams is to divide the players. These negotiations are no different. We remain united and focused on delivering a transformational CBA for all members of this union and are committed to negotiating for as long as it takes. Our union's nearly unanimous vote in December to authorize us to call a strike, if and when necessary, was not taken lightly. It was made with complete faith and trust in ourselves and our negotiating committee, led by Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson and President Nneka Ogwumike.
Now here's where it gets interesting. The statement talks tough about their nearly unanimous vote to authorize a strike back in December. They lean hard on that word, unanimous. But notice what they actually released to back up their position. Not the strike authorization vote. They released a different survey entirely. The question they asked players, do you accept the league's proposal of 50% of net revenue, which is less than 15% of gross revenue in an 8-year deal, or ask the union to keep negotiating? 84% voted to keep negotiating. Sounds impressive until you realize what they're not asking. They didn't ask, are you willing to strike and miss paychecks to get a better deal? They didn't ask, would you sacrifice this season's salary for potentially better terms next year? They didn't ask, are you prepared to lose the momentum from Caitlin Clark's rookie season? Those questions would get very different answers, and the Players Association knows it.
Interesting, because the statement was mainly focused on the strike, the potential of a strike, players being in favor of a strike, nearly unanimous vote of a strike. But what they release is interesting. Let me see the answer. Would you be okay with us going on strike, missing games, missing paychecks, you guys losing money, losing fans, and then when we come back to the table in a year, you would get less money, less fans, less engagement? Would you be in favor of a strike in that case? Something tells me the percentage would be not too many would want to strike.
Watch how they framed this. It's textbook manipulation through question design. Do you want to accept 15% or keep fighting for more? Well, obviously, everyone wants more money. That's not the real question. The real question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Because here's what the survey carefully avoided mentioning. If they strike, they're not coming back to a better deal. They're coming back to a worse one. The media partners who just committed billions, partly based on Caitlin Clark's drawing power, they're going to renegotiate downward if there's no 2025 season. The casual fans who finally started paying attention, they're gone. The momentum that turned the WNBA from a punchline into appointment television evaporated. The owners know this, Adam Silver knows this, and the smart players like Plum and Stewart definitely know this. The only people pretending otherwise are the ones running the Players Association.
On the side of the road, that people are just slowing down, stopping, seeing what's going on, and they're just driving right by. That's where we're at right now. People just want to see the car crash, and then they're carrying on with their day. Appreciate you all. It's a message to the players. You're either with us or against us. It's that simple. I never expect anything from the WNBA Players Association, and yet they still manage to disappoint me. The owners don't care about the pressure of a strike. In fact, they're daring the players to strike. If we can see through this BS, the owners can too. As you have stated, fish swimming among sharks. Oh yeah, far in over their head. It's amazing through this process how unself-aware the players union is. They are out of their depth, and whoever is consulting them are incompetent, so unprofessional. They are very self-unaware.
Let's talk about impulse control for a second, or rather, the complete absence of it. Professional negotiators will tell you that silence is a weapon. Patience is leverage. Making your opponent wait, wonder, and worry gives you power at the bargaining table. The WNBA Players Association responded to internal dissent in less than 16 hours with a public statement. That's not strategy, that's panic. That's an organization that knows it's losing control of its membership and desperately trying to reassert authority through public declarations. Compare that to how the owners have handled this entire process. Kathy Engelbert makes measured statements. Adam Silver stays mostly quiet. The team owners let their offer speak for itself. They're not scrambling to respond to every piece of criticism. They're not conducting damage control surveys. They're acting like people who hold the cards, because they do.
Here we have Alicia Clark speaking about the league proposals.
I think it just continues to illustrate what the majority feels. We are at a place where we feel like the proposals the leagues have sent haven't been good ones. And, we want to continue to fight for what we know we deserve. And we hope that at some point the league decides to have that same, sentiment towards us as well through the proposals that they send.
Now, is a strike still on the table for the players?
I mean, when you look at the vote that we took back in December, we didn't take that lightly at all. And it was almost a unanimous vote for yes, that, a strike is on the table. And so as a union, we're going to use every tool that we have in our pocket to be able to fight and get what we know we deserve.
Now we need to address the elephant in the room. Who's actually running this negotiation? Look at the Players Association Executive Committee. Dejane Carrington, Courtney Williams, Nanika Ogwumike as president, Araike Ogunbowale, Kelsey Mitchell. Breanna Stewart was on there before she started questioning the strategy publicly. Notice what's missing from that list. Current superstars in their prime, who have the most to lose. Asia Wilson isn't leading this charge. Sabrina Ionescu isn't the face of these negotiations. Caitlin Clark, who single-handedly changed the trajectory of this league, has zero involvement in the public messaging. Instead, you've got a mix of veterans at the end of their careers and solid players who aren't exactly household names outside hardcore WNBA circles. These are the people steering the ship during the most consequential negotiation in league history, and they're steering it straight into an iceberg.
So it's very much still on the table, and that is something that I think is clear as we continue to have these conversations with our union and the players in the league.
Shame on me. Shame on me. Everybody in the comments, go ahead. Go off. Roast me. Ben, I told you. Ben, you had too much faith. I'm guilty here. I thought Alicia Clark was smarter than that. I was wrong. They're all the same. They all think, act the same. Sorry. I tried, Alicia, but hey, respectfully, you're delusional. Oh, shout out to CDS. LOL, players with no motion leading the players. No wonder why they haven't been able to move the WNBA or owners. At least get some Asia in there if you don't want these star rookies taking over. 38-year-old adult woman trying to pop.
Here's Alicia Clark, a 12-year veteran, explaining the players' position on the current proposal. Listen carefully to the language she uses. We feel like the proposals haven't been good ones. We want to continue to fight for what we know we deserve. That word, deserve. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting in these negotiations. The players feel they deserve more. Based on what, exactly? The league has never turned a profit in its 28-year history, not once. The NBA has subsidized operations for nearly 3 decades, and now, finally, there's real money on the table, real growth potential, and the response is, not good enough. We deserve more. Deserve based on what metric? Certainly not profitability. Not historical revenue generation. The only reason there's significant money available now is because of one player's impact, Caitlin Clark. And she's not the one demanding the league blow up over revenue splits.
Profit off the young ones at the risk of collapsing a league fresh off the hype. This is gross. But are they going to strike or continue with this BS? Because either way, you're going to lose money. Perfectly put. Excuse me. The proposals players keep sending are pitiful. Too disgusting. You want the league to teach you to negotiate? You make women look stupid. Oh, no. There's good money on the table. Work it out. Keep momentum. SW wasn't playing. That might be Stephanie White's burner account. SW, Stephanie, what? We'll talk about that later. Huge mistake if they strike. Just catastrophic. No respect for these women. Never made a profit yet. Basically a welfare league until the rookies came. Fire them all. God damn. God damn. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I appreciate the support. The owners are licking their chops, laughing at the Players Association. And owners, me personally, I'm laughing with you guys. It's comedy at this point. It's comedy at this point. I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to laugh. Like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. See you next time, and as always,
let's break down what's actually on the table, because the Players Association keeps talking about 15% of gross revenue, like it's an insult. The league's offer is 50% of net revenue. In most years of this league's history, 50% of net revenue would have been $0, because there was no net revenue. There was net losses. The reason this offer represents approximately 15% of gross revenue is because operating a professional sports league is expensive. Arenas cost money, travel costs money, staff, marketing, production, infrastructure, all of that comes out before you calculate net revenue. The NBA operates on the same model. NFL players get roughly 48% of revenue, and that league actually makes money. But here's where the Players Association is either being deliberately misleading or genuinely doesn't understand business basics. They keep comparing gross revenue percentages to other leagues without acknowledging that other leagues are profitable. The WNBA isn't. Taking 50% of net revenue in a league that's finally approaching profitability is actually a generous offer. It means players share in the upside without shouldering any of the downside risk. If the league loses money next year, the owners eat those losses. The players still get their salaries. That's not how true revenue sharing works in business partnerships. True partners share losses too. The players want all the benefits of being partners without any of the risks, and they're calling it deserved. The timeline here matters too. We're 6 days from the March 15th opt-out deadline. 6 days. If no deal is reached, the entire CBA falls apart. Training camps are supposed to start in a few weeks. The season is scheduled to begin in May. And instead of serious negotiations, we're getting public statements, player surveys with loaded questions, and internal warfare between union leadership and star players. This is what happens when you let emotion drive business decisions. This is what happens when you surround yourself with yes people who tell you that you're undervalued instead of advisors who explain market realities. This is what happens when a union prioritizes appearing strong over actually being effective. Because here's the truth that nobody in the Players Association wants to say out loud. They have almost zero leverage in this negotiation. The owners can afford to lose a season. Most of them own NBA teams that print money. The WNBA is a passion project, a long-term investment, a way to grow the game. If it goes away for a year, their lives don't change. But the players, they lose their platform. They lose their salaries. They lose the momentum that's taken 28 years to build. Most importantly, they lose the Caitlin Clark effect. She's not going to be a rookie again. The curiosity factor that drove record ratings and attendance doesn't come back after a canceled season. You get one shot at this moment, and the Players Association is threatening to throw it away over percentage points. Think about the position this puts someone like Caitlin Clark in. She didn't ask for any of this. She just wanted to play basketball. But her mere presence in the league changed everything. Attendance doubled in cities when she visited. Ratings skyrocketed. Merchandise flew off shelves. She created the economic conditions that made this big contract offer possible. And now the veterans who spent years playing in empty arenas are ready to blow it all up because they want a bigger slice of the pie she baked. She's not even part of the negotiating committee. She has no say in whether the season happens, but if it doesn't, she'll be the one who suffers most. Her prime years are finite. Every season matters, and the union leadership is gambling with her career to prove a point. The owners see all of this. They're not stupid. They know the Players Association is fractured. They know Plum and Stewart breaking ranks publicly signals deeper problems. They know that most players can't afford to miss paychecks. They know the leverage situation favors them completely. So what's their move? Simple. Wait. Let the deadline approach. Let the pressure build. Let the Players Association keep making emotional public statements that demonstrate their weakness. Then, at the last possible moment, maybe they sweeten the deal slightly. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just let the players choose between the current offer and nothing. That's the position of strength. That's what competent negotiation looks like. And it's the exact opposite of what the WNBA Players Association has demonstrated throughout this entire process. The statement ends with this line: "There is no WNBA without the players." Technically true, but also meaningless. There's no WNBA without owners either. There's no WNBA without fans. There's no WNBA without media partners willing to broadcast games. Everyone is necessary. Nobody is sufficient alone. But if you're trying to figure out who's replaceable in this equation, here's a thought experiment. If the owners locked out the players and signed replacement players to team with Caitlin Clark, Paige Buckers when she's drafted, and Angel Reese, would fans notice the difference? Would ratings crater? Or would people just tune in to watch the stars they actually care about? 90% of the current roster could be replaced tomorrow, and the casual fan wouldn't know the difference. That's not disrespect, that's market reality. Star power drives interest. The WNBA finally has real star power, and it's not coming from the people running the Players Association. So here we are, 6 days from the deadline, a fractured union, owners who are perfectly comfortable playing hardball, and a once-in-a-generation opportunity to capitalize on unprecedented growth, all hanging in the balance because the Players Association can't get out of its own way. The smart move is obvious. Take the deal. Lock in 50% of net revenue. Ride the Caitlin Clark wave. Build the fan base. Prove the league can be profitable. Then, in 8 years when the next CBA comes up, negotiate from a position of actual strength based on demonstrated value. But that requires patience. That requires thinking long-term. That requires putting ego aside and making the strategic choice instead of the emotional one. And based on everything we've seen from the WNBA Players Association, those aren't qualities they possess. So get ready for more dramatic statements, more loaded surveys, more public infighting, and quite possibly no WNBA season in 2025. All because the people running this negotiation are exactly what they were called at the start: unhinged, out of control, and emotional. The owners are playing chess. The Players Association is playing checkers, and they're about to find out what happens when fish try to swim with sharks.